And we use this not only in our factory with the wax to store wax in, but we also use it as a syrup box. So we would, in the winter, in October time, we put a thick syrup in the bottom of there, and we put something like this or straw on it, so that the bees can sit on there and enjoy the syrup without drowning. Very good idea. You can't swim in syrup. So that only happens in the October, and then they're emptied before the spring, because quite frankly, they don't need that extra support. There's plenty of nectar out in the gardens. And we don't want to produce honey or extract honey that has been made from sugar syrup. So this is just our lid on here. That's propolis on there, on my beekeeper's tool. So although this was open this morning, they've already started to secure it. So just lift that off. Is there a few bees on there, guys?
Yeah, loads of bees.
Yeah.
100 bees.
Looking good. Right, so this is our super box. This is our brood box, and this is our super box. There's no brood in this box, or there shouldn't be any brood in that box. That is going to be pure honey. Bees make 2 to 3 times more honey than they need. Just a little bit of smoke over the top. We sometimes get asked by amateur beekeepers, why does my honey smell of smoke? Well, it's because you're putting it in your hive. You always brush the smoke across the top, not in. So, most of the activity is always around the centre of the box, because that's where it's warmer, and they tend to make their honey there first and then work their way out. So I'm going to take a frame out here from the middle to show you. Shall I drop that down a bit? It's going to better than you. There we go. So I'll take this one out the centre here. Oh, feels like it's quite heavy, that's good. Full of honey maybe. So beekeepers, you'll notice, will always move quite slowly, quite purposefully. No jolty movements, the bees don't like it. So I gently pull this out. You can see all the bees on my frame here, all being very busy bees, making honey.
No.
So when you can see the wax cappings, you can see the cells, like that. And then when you see the wax cappings like that, that means they're quite happy with the honey inside those cells. They put a cap over it to store it for later. You'll notice these are all female bees, making the honey, making the wax. And here you've got quite a cute little view here. That's a lot of bees' bottoms. They've all got their heads in the cells, making that beautiful honey. Isn't that cute? Yeah. Bottoms up. So, that one back in, and I'll just show you this one. I've just noticed this one's got a lot more bees on it. So we'll have a look at this one, and then we'll go down into the brood box. There you go. I know, amazing, isn't it? All those beautiful bees making their honey. That's quite a heavy frame. A super box can weigh up to 40 kilograms. This one's going to be quite heavy for me to lift now. So I'll pop that back in. And then I'm going to gently lift this off. She says, fingers crossed that I can. So that you can hear that sticky. Oh, they have been busy. Come on, guys. Give me a hand here. Right. Are you ready? Go. leaves the queen in the brood box. We don't want her up as a soup box, we don't want her laying brood up there. We can't extract honey if there's brood in it. So, we all know bees make honey, but how do they actually make honey? Well, the lady bees, the girl bees, let's take that queen excluder off. The reason why just make sure she's not on there. The reason why how she is excluded is because those holes are not big enough for her to get through. The queen bee is bigger than her daughters. The daughters are a lot smaller. So just pop that down. Actually, I'll put that. That's just for I don't want that to happen. So I'm just going to pop that back on there. And I'm going to put that there so that they can climb back into the hive if they need to. So the honeybees, the ladies, will go out and forage into the garden. They'll collect nectar in their crop. Their petals come up. They will come back to the hive. They will give a little kiss to another sister, transfer from the crop the lovely nectar, and they will go down and make the honey mixed with pollen. Okay. The crop has a valve between the crop and the stomach, so the two don't mix. And it is very different to the stomach. It doesn't have acid in it. So some people say, oh, don't want to eat honey, it's bees on it. It's not. That's loads of rubbish. Right, let's put some more smoke over here. Come on, girls, be kind. Now, sometimes the bee that has collected the honey in the garden wants to tell everybody else where the best nectar is. And I apologise if I'm repeating myself for those that did the bee biology with me. But it is quite a nice little thing to know. Bees communicate through pheromone, which is how they transfer information through a scent in their antennae, but they also dance, the concept of which I think is fabulous. To communicate through dance is such a joyous thing, I think. So, what they do is they find that lovely nectar in the garden, they come back to the frame and they say, okay girls, watch me. And they'll walk around in a circle, they'll find themselves a circle, say that is the centre of the circle, and they'll gently walk around with their wings flying, like that. And then when they get to the centre, perpendicular to the sun and in the direction of where the nectar is outside, they do a waggle dance, just like that. Well, maybe not just like that, but something like that. And then they gently walk around the other side, like that, flapping their little wings behind them. And then they'll do the same thing again. The first ever fat nap. They're telling the bees exactly where the best nectar is. Not only that, they're telling them how far it is by the speed of the dance. So if it's in 3 fields away or just in the garden, these bees know. They know where to go. And that's why quite often when you've got plants in your garden that are flowering, you might have one that's flowering there, one that's flowering there, but all the bees are on that one. That's because the nectar on that one is more delicious than the nectar on that one at that time. It might swap suppose in a week or so, or whatever. They are so clever. So, this is our brood box. Where are we on time? I tend to work on, sorry. So this is our brood box. This is where we expect to see the queen. I hope we will see the queen. That's an old frame. Nothing much on there. We'll put that there so they can get back inside the hive if they wish to. So what the queen does is she lays an egg in one of these cells in here. She has the ability to lay 2,000 eggs on average per day. Wash your legs, girls. Less in the winter, more in the summer, of course. So the egg goes into one of these hexagon shapes. It stays there for 3 days. When it's viable, it will start to turn into a larva, or larvae. When it's doing that, the girls, the worker bees, will feed that larva bee bread, pollen and bread, for 5 days. 2 days real jelly, the rest of the time they get bee bread. And they get that snack every 10 minutes. Imagine being offered a snack every 10 minutes. Would you like some what's this? 10 minutes later, how do you fancy a Kit Kat? 10 minutes later, oh, a lollipop. Well, that's how it goes then. Every 10 minutes they get a snack. Then they start to pupate, so they're starting to turn into a bee. And they will, just check for the queen. So they start to turn into a bee. So the girl bees will cover them over with wax capping so they have some privacy while they become a bee. And they become a bee 21 days later if they're a girl, 14 for a queen, 25 for a boy. Now, I don't know if you can see that, but the difference between that and the honey cappings is it's a lot thicker and a lot darker. And this is all babies in here. And on a couple of them, I think you might be able to see the little white larvae inside. And as we go further in, I'll try and spot a bee being born. Okay. So we'll move that one to the front, and then we'll go on to the next one, see what we can see. Now the boys don't take so long to develop, they take the boys take longer to develop because they're bigger. They take 25 days. The queen takes 14 days, as I said, because there's more of an urgency. If they need a new queen, they need a new queen. They need to produce one quite quickly. The boys are produced by the queen. They're an unfertilised egg, not a fertilised egg, which makes a boy. I'll just check she's not on there, or she is on there. So you can see lots of activity here. You can see where the saying busy as a bee came from, can't you? Lots and lots of activity. Trying to find a boy for you. There's work being done, so they're pretty elusive. I can show you that up close if you want to. Sorry, I'm not being sexist, it's apparent. The boys don't do anything. Lots of bees, isn't it? They're all behaving, though. Being good. Okay, let's go on to the next frame. So I kind of mentioned about the boys and the girls. The girls, when they're born, the first thing they have to do, you won't believe it. I've got hair. Sorry. You won't believe it, they have to clean their bedroom. Imagine that, just been born. Go and clean your bedroom. So they go around and clean their cell. Then they start to feed all the other larvae. They make wax with glands at the bottom of their body. They make honey when the other bees come in. They look after the queen. They make sure she's doing a good job. She's not the boss, they're the boss. And they make sure she's well fed and that she's nice and warm. Some of them become guard bees. After about 2 weeks, the bees they will be strong enough to have their wings, and they will go out and forage for about 3 weeks. They last for about 5 weeks, that's all. Just giving them a bit of a tickle to see if I can see the queen, but I can see the cells there. Just have a look at that one. Is that one being born, or is that one? Yeah, so after 2 weeks, they spend about 3 weeks foraging, and then sadly they pass. They don't live for very long. Not surprising, they work so hard. Now, what about the boys? Well, the boys lay about the place. They don't do any feeding, any cleaning, no honey making, no wax. They don't even have a spin. They don't even guard the place. They are fed by the girls all through the summer, because they are important. They are important to the colony. They're part of the reproduction side of things, and that's their main role. Can't see her.